Hello everybody, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim. This time with helicopters, because they're the best. Everyone can all agree. We've got some helicopter action here. We've got the Thrustmaster pedals. We've got the joystick, and we've got the pizza, which is a crucial part of helicopter flying. The pizza's vital, absolutely vital. Might have just moved the pedals too far though. There we go. Get in there. Hello, YouTubers. Thanks for clicking the like button, guys. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. We've got some graphic settings to tweak here as well. Whoop, keyboard sliding. Hello, No Smokey. Well, this is just the other half of the pizza. We had like a quarter of a pizza earlier. Because you can only really cook half a pizza in an air fryer. Thanks, Brenton. Dear! Click it 4 times. Even better. Thanks, Tudge. The balloons look just like that when you're playing the game. I haven't flown the gliders yet. Be interesting. Luke Cook, can you give me a tip on what would be the best entry-level sim setup for Xbox? It's hard to say for Xbox. In terms of joysticks, I think the T-Flight stick is probably the cheapest good stick. Thrustmaster T-Flight. It's not that good, but I think it's the cheapest one that's okay. And I think it's on sale at the moment for like £70. That should work. That's a lot better than a gamepad. You can get rudder pedals. That's 120 for the one that comes with rudder pedals. But you don't really need the rudder pedals because you can just use the twist. But I mean, rudder pedals are nice, but they're not very good rudder pedals. The cheap ones, so. I really need to buy a bunch of flight joysticks again, and to compare to help people. To try them all out. We'll do a bit of an Amazon. I'll probably have to wait till next year to do that. So graphics, there's a bunch of things here actually. So ground shadows affect performance moderately, but at the second setting they look basically the same as the higher setting. the shadow map, the terrain shadows basically look fine on 256. Contact shadows take up a lot of resources and you really can't tell much difference. Windshield effects is fine. Ambient occlusion doesn't take up that much resources and looks quite good. Cube map reflections, here we go, and then you can turn these off and only use cube maps. Light shafts are fine. Depth of field off. Glass cockpit reflex doesn't make that much difference. This is a nice colour. How dare you judge? Road traffic and sea traffic don't affect the performance that much. Air traffic does at airports, but not as much as you'd think. Texture resolution doesn't affect things that much. Volumetric clouds, so they look really good on ultra and they look terrible on low, but medium and high they basically look pretty similar. So put them on medium, there's quite a lot of performance. Trees have a big impact on performance, but on medium don't look that different. Buildings have quite a big impact on performance. High, they do look, it does make a difference. Plants actually is better on low because it just spawns them in randomly and they don't look better than the grass. It does activate, but it still makes things based off arbitrary decisions. Rocks are quite demanding, but the difference is with rocks you either want it on ultra or low, because ultra looks really good, or it just looks like random rocks. Like your brain can't tell the difference between 5 rocks on a hillside and 15 rocks, but it can tell the difference between 5 rocks and 100 rocks. So you're better off just having 5 rocks. Like, I mean, it can't tell the difference between. So it can notice no rocks, but the difference between 10, 15, 20 and 100 and 30 is marginal. So you're either better off having no rocks and there's no rocks, 5 rocks you're like, oh, there's a couple of rocks, or 100 rocks and the whole thing's there's rocks everywhere. Like, otherwise, like in a sense, you'd just be like, well, hang on, we might as well just have some rocks, and you're like, okay, there's rocks there, fine. But the thing is, that 5 rock setting runs great, whereas 1,000 rocks doesn't. No, but so it's like the plants. Your brain doesn't know how many plants there should be, right? So a high number of plants runs slowly, and yeah, there's more plants, but when you're flying around you don't know how many plants there should be, so it doesn't look off that there's a low number of plants. If you have no plants, you're not going to see any plants, but you might as well have a few. Whereas the grass, your brain has like an expectation for thick grass where there should be thick grass, so you benefit from having high levels of grass, if that makes sense. I think that's mostly how we wanted it. Someone did a bunch of testing on a mid-end system. Some of their testing was a bit off, like the methodology, but generally speaking, they actually pretty much nailed what's relevant. I think we're pretty good there. But obviously, the terrain level of detail is one of the biggest sliders. I need to do a video explaining what each setting does. Right, where can we try our little helicopter? Exactly, got to keep the energy levels up by eating healthy pizzas. We're getting in a helicopter. What? Where to? Should we take a look at the Grand Canyon? I can share the profiles. Where is the Grand Canyon? Where is the Grand Canyon? I don't know where it is. It's a canyon that's grand and I can't find it. Where is it? Oh, it's like here. Well, my settings are going to be the best cat debate, so. Guys, where's the Grand Canyon? We could look at Breaking Bad. Where's Las Vegas? Oh, here we go. CFC, if you get engine issue, audio issues, the best thing to do is to delete the streamed cache files. That seemed to fix it for us. We've got everything here. You ready? I can't remember. I don't know where the runway is. Why are we... It's not hovering properly in the ground effect. Don't know why. This is weird. Why is it... Something's wrong. There's something Something's messed up with the RPM. Let's restart the... I think the governators... I touched the RPM thing. I think it's trying to automatically do it. I can't remember the exact folder name. It is... Hang on, I'll find it for you. I don't want to tab out the game. If you Google streaming cache files, Microsoft Flight Sim 24, it should come up. Right, let's see if this works. Yeah, what's going on? The RPMs are dropping. Part of it's ground effect, but... Hang on. Why is the RPMs dropping so much just from a basic hover? Oh, that's messed up. Why can't it hover in ground effect? See the RPMs there? You can hear the rotors making the ground effect noise. So we give it collective. Right. And then we're hovering. And then it's looks like it's just losing RPMs. That's so weird. Don't know why it's doing that. Now it's losing power. What on earth? I think it's broken. The RPMs are dropping. Hang on. What is going on? I think the governator's not... Is it governator? I'm going to change this binding. It wasn't doing that before. This is the fun of Microsoft Flight Sim, guys. Right. Well, it's moving around by itself now, so as you... Yeah, that's... Right, let's see if this works. Oh, it's still dropping, look! What on earth? Let's see if we get some speed up with it. Why is it... What's going on? Physics are messed up. Like, we can't even go up. The RPM's like it's messed up. It's like it's got no power. But the RPM's coming back up now. What on earth? Just give it some welly. Is that like... What on earth? Wait. Yeah. It's totally messed up. Thanks for following. I don't know what's going on with this helicopter. I think it's broken. Let's try a different helicopter. Didn't have that problem before. Ah, that would make sense. How do you turn the rotor brake off? Yeah, that would make sense. Right, let's try that again. TL. Good call. Ah, rotor brake. Good call there. That would totally make sense. You'd have thought there'd be a warning that would start beeping, like if you got flaps down, landing gear and stuff, you normally get a warning. Oh, we have a toggle switch on here. I didn't know about. What can I put rotor? I can put rotor brake on this, I guess. Well, it is kind of like handbrake. Toggle rotor brake. What's 11? Oh, we'll put it on that. No, yeah, you have a light on for rotor brake. It's not that. No, it's as if the it's like the throttle's not working properly. What does 1 mean? No, the throttle's going up to like 90% with the load. But it's just too much for it. What on earth? Is there just something wrong with the weather conditions, do you think? And it's breaking it. Does it take time for a helicopter to warm up or something? Look, I mean, look at that. We're on 50% collective, and the RPM is really low, and the engine's on 88%. All the temperatures are correct. There's nothing. What's that red flashing thing? No, there's nothing. Is that just a light from the front? I have no idea what's going on here. Like, yeah, the RPMs aren't coming back up. But how do you do propeller feathering? I don't think that's even an option on this. Let's try a different helicopter. It could. Oh, let's see the weather. Let's see if it's bugging out because of the weather. Oh, here we go. I think it was the weather. I think there was some bug with the weather. Fine. That's really random. No, it's working now. I think it's some weather bug. You want to know how you fly this heap of shit simulator? I don't know. You let's land and take off again. Let's land on this. Yeah, it's working now. What on earth was going on? It was as if we were at like really, really high altitude or something. I mean, this is still weird in ground effect, but apparently that's the... So let's just take off normally now. We'll go forwards and then we should just be able to float in ground effect. Go to the Grand Canyon. Not too bad. Beautiful. I mean, look at the tarmac texture. It looks so nice. Yeah, it's working now. It was a bug with the weather. This is the real time for this location as well, which is nice. Look at that. Right, we need to... Which way was the Grand Canyon? Was it the other way from where we're going? Or we'll fly up and then we'll have a look. So nice, flying helicopters. I know it's in front of us, I think. Going this way, straight ahead. Does trim work for you? I use force feedback trim, so it doesn't work. The in-game trim doesn't work. But I use hardware trim, So I just once I've set the trim, it will hold it. I bound a button, so my joystick's holding the position. So it's basically doing the trim for me. Which is nice. Although it would be nice if the in-game trim worked properly. It doesn't seem to. It didn't seem to work properly for me. Which is really stupid. Like the trim, the reset trim. So what I'm using right now, in game, whenever I push the reset trim, so at the moment, to go forwards, we have to push the joystick forwards, right? And so basically, it should work that in the game I push reset trim, and the helicopter should, the joystick goes. Basically, that's now the new central point for resistance and everything. But it doesn't. It just goes mental. So, but with that, with the joystick, with the hardware joystick, with the force feedback joystick, the way it works is that if I wanted to keep going forwards without having to push forwards, so I can push my joystick forwards, I can just push a button, and now my joystick's going to hold the position. So I don't have to hold onto my joystick for it to nose down. The thing is, flying a helicopter, you would use trim a lot because it's just easy. It's just convenient. So you can be super lazy. And you can even use trim for like basic navigation of the helicopter. Like to be really smooth with input, and then you just use the manual input if you want to make a big movement, or you're doing a quick correction. I've had problems with trim in a lot of sims, to be honest. Am I cheating? Well, no, it's just doing it. It's doing the same thing but through the hardware. It's just how you. It's achieving the same thing. It's just doing it through the hardware rather than the software. Yeah, like in a plane, you know if you're flying correctly by trimming it. Thank you for subscribing. You can literally feel the pressure on the yoke, and then you trim the plane, and it. Oh, you're joking? Yeah, you feel the pressure on the yoke in a plane, and then you trim it based off the pressure on your hands, and you know that it's trimmed because the pressure disappears. There's a hole in the ground here. The Great Grand Canyon hole. Pretty unusable game for anyone with super expensive without. Yeah, no, it's dumb. It's totally dumb. Yeah, they shouldn't have launched Flight Sim 2024. Really, I think what happened is the problem is that it is 2024. They need to release the game before December, and the name of the game is 24, and they got all the marketing, all the branding, all the materials is 24. So they had to release it even though it wasn't ready. But like, my argument would be, fine, but release it as an early access in 24. You know what I mean? Like, release it, or release it with the single player locked and go, like, guys, it's Flight Sim 24. We've done so, because they have done a lot to it, and they go, yeah, well, that's a problem. But that says Elgato audio control server. What on earth? Don't know what that is. It should have locked. Well, we'll load the game up again. That was a good crash. Great. Thanks, Microsoft. Elgato audio control server. What on earth? It's like a plugin. They should have launched it with just the free flight and said, guys, we've got the seasons, we've got DLSS in the game, we've got DirectX 12, we've got new aircraft, we've got the new weather system, we've got new shaders for the water and everything. We've got all the the fundamental sim has been upgraded quite significantly, which it has, and we've got the streaming of data, so you don't have to do so you don't have to select individual downloads, which turned out to be a cock up at launch, but like fine. And they launched that as Flight Sim 24, and then in January 25, then they do the big single player career mode reveal with a big hubbub of like career mode, Microsoft Flight Sim career mode launch. That way, they get 2 launches of the game, like in terms of marketing and hype. So I just don't get why they launched with broken career mode and. Like the free flight thing, it crashes every now and again, but generally still really impressive. But yes, it's like got broken career mode. There's so many bugs in it, and the missions are like lacking and broken as well. The AI voice stuff is messed up. But they could have just launched with the free flight as the initial thing. That would have been fine. A lot of people would have been like, "Oh, cool! There's new planes, and yeah, I'm buying it now because I want to get used to it." And then that would have rolled it out more progressively as well. So I don't know why would you. They don't have to launch with the single player. There's no reason. No one. There was no reason that they had to do that. I think pretty much all players of the game would be like, "Oh, the streaming works. Like, now they fixed the servers, the streaming actually does work reasonably well. New planes, new weather, new seasons." New graphics. Oh, and the career mode's coming in January. They would have seen it as a positive. Like, flight simmers don't care about getting single player straight away. And then also maybe release the console version when you do the single player thing. I don't know. It seems like I can understand that they have to release in 24. They have to release something. So yeah, but what I'm saying is they would still make money. That's what I don't get. I think they've lost money. They could have released with less and locked stuff off and still made the money, not pissed everyone off, and still had the additional thing of all the hype in 25. Leonard G. Yeah, well, the thing is, are you playing on PC? It depends also massively on what things what you select and where your starting airport is as well. That's a big part of so some people are getting plane missions on helicopter pads. Andy Pipkin, thank you very much for subscribing, appreciate that. Right, let's try and go back to the Grand Canyon. Bloody hell. Yeah. Do I think the cheap Thrustmaster rudder pedals are worth it? I don't know. Like, I did a review video of them on my channel on YouTube. I think if you look, I thought they were really shit. To be honest, I think you're better off using sim racing pedals if you've got them. But they don't work with the helicopters at the moment in the game. Hang on, where's Las Vegas? Bloody hell, I'm so dumb. The 3D globe is throwing me off. Where's Las Vegas? Oh, yeah, it's further, way further than I was thinking. Right, here it is. Yeah, they're just not smooth. Like, for rudder pedals to actually be good as rudder pedals, I mean, maybe if I lubricated them, they could work better, but they were so shit. I think it's one of those things where you're better off just spending more, or you have to spend a certain amount of money. Unfortunately, just to get to past a certain threshold of quality. okay-ish rudder pedals though. Oh bloody hell! Why is it night time? Okay-ish rudder pedals add a lot to flight sims. Like it makes such, especially if you're doing single player in taxi. Hang on, where's my cockpit? Loading the cockpit, guys. Like, why is that not something that just works? That's just weird, isn't it? Maybe it's just cold and then the helicopter's not working because it's so cold. Whoa! I don't know. Oh no, because that's working. I know. Is it working? Let's go the other way. Or do we? Why is it doing this again? Yeah, now it's the RPMs are really low again. It's just it's a string on the windshield. Oh, here we go. It's a string on the windshield, so you can tell it does this a similar thing to this thing here, the turn coordinator, but it lets you see airflow, and the advantage as well is that it works even if all the other equipment's not working. And also, if you're in if you go down in a helicopter, you start going into the air that you've already pushed out the way, which is turbulent air, which is also already moving down, and so the string will start going all over the place. So it's a really low-tech way of knowing if you've got like what's going on. So it works. It's really handy. What is? Yeah, look, we've got this RPM thing again. Why? What is this? Is it to do with temperature? Minus 35 and it's fine. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Does it take a while for a helicopter to warm up or something? Yeah, no, but normally cold air is more dense than warm air. Oh no. Yeah, warm air has more moisture in it. It's less dense. It's confusing. It's back to front to what you think. I don't know why warm air has it has more moisture in it, and so it's less dense. I don't know why. It's back to front how you think the moisture would be more dense. Yeah, less oxygen, but less dense in terms of how planes work as well. Oh, less. That's right. Less dense for oxygen, so engines. Hang on, golf balls go further in warm air. Yeah, that's less oxygen dense, so because it's got more moisture, which is taking up where the oxygen would be. But then in terms of lift on wings, the drier the air, the colder it is, the more dry it is, the more lift you get. Yeah, it's all not intuitive. Right, look, someone chat GPT. Does a wing work better in warmer, in cooler air? Yeah, less warmer air is less dense. That's why it rises. But why warmer air also contains more moisture? Why does warmer... Oh, it's less dense because it's spreading out. That's why. Yeah, it's to do with the density. Exactly. The warmer it is, the further apart the particles are. So it's less dense. So then it provides less lift. And then the water is separate. But the equation to do with the amount of moisture in it is a separate equation and less relevant than to do with the physics of how gas behaves in temperature. There you go. I remember now. I read up on this because it was really bloody confusing me and annoying me. There you go. That's the explanation, guys. It was in my brain. I just forgot. You have to just think of air as like a gas because that's what it is. Oh, look at this. Imagine living here. Imagine living here with a helicopter that doesn't work properly for some reason. Seems to be working okay now, though. Jesus Christ, look at this. Imagine just having a house here. You'd be like, oh shit, am I going to fall into the canyon? So it looks like a shopping centre. Be a bit annoying if you wanted to go to the shop on the other side of the canyon. I mean, it's hard to like. It's visually hard to comprehend. do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things and bits and bobs and hills, and it's so vast. It's like, actually, it's hard for your brain to process. Why are we... Hang on. There's some weird shit going on. Is that updraft? There's some weird effects going on here. Like, look at this part of the canyon. You're like, oh, there's the Grand Canyon in front of us. And then you have... Oh, we're actually travelling pretty fast. It's just hard to notice. You have that behind us. You're like, oh yeah, that's a big bit of drop. And then you have another canyon down below. People get stuck in this and can't get out. Yeah, the turbulence is, I think, a bit messed up. Not, you do get bad turbulence in real life, obviously, but like, I think it's a bit weirdly done in this. Yeah, people know about the Grand Canyon. Also because of like historic like stuff that's happened there with like, you know, stuntmen jumping over it and just as a tourist attraction. I think it's one. It's like the you know, like the Eiffel Tower. I think it's one of the things, like, if you were to say America to someone, they would be like, oh, Grand Canyon, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, guns, school shootings. You know. Thanks for subscribing, Dracoman. What's... Oh, look at this little bridge here. What is that? Little weird building thing. Oh, amphitheatre. That's a little, like, area. What's the rock? Hang on, is that it? That's not a, Mount Rushmore's not in the Grand Canyon. This is way high quality than it was in Flight Sim 2020. Land and check it. Mount Rushmore's not here. It's the drain hole. That's why all the water's come out of the. This is actually a bathtub for your average American lady. Oh! Obesity. That's another thing that we think of with America. Yes, we got an obesity joke in there, guys. Cancelled. Mackie D's. That's another one. Yeah, the tessellation stuff helps make the hills look a lot more interesting. Oh yeah, we should get a mod version of Vegas so it's got the Las Vegas Formula 1 track. I don't think this helicopter is designed to go particularly fast when you're mostly stable. We're catching up with America, to be fair. If you go too fast in a helicopter, they flip over, actually. It's quite interesting. they just flip over. There's like an effect that happens where if the wind is going faster than... I don't think you can in this helicopter. But basically the lift going over the blades inverts. And so it just flips over. Yeah, you can probably do it in a dive. I'm not sure if this helicopter it'll probably break before it does that. But yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. It's got someone Google it or ChatGPT it. Why do helicopters flip over if they go too fast? It's really interesting. The Bell 47 does it quite easily. You'll just be flying along and not realise that you go slightly too fast, and then it just like the lift just turns off and it'll just start rolling. Britain's good at catching up. This looks amazing though. I mean, honestly, this is see, this alone, if you released Microsoft Flight Sim 24 and you're like, oh yeah, but it's just got the better graphics than 2020, a lot of people would be happy to pay like £30 for an updated Grand Canyon. So this is why I don't get the launch of this game. Blade stall, there you go. The stall creates an imbalance of lift between the two. Yeah, so basically one side of the helicopter gets really big lift and the other side gets no lift, and that's it. Do a barrel roll. Blade stall. Yeah, the blades go in the opposite direction. Yeah, exactly. Oh, actually, that'd be interesting to check out in this. There's some Indian like forts that were built in this type of terrain. So you see where you have these overhangs. There's some like crazy. So like you see this in front of us here. Obviously they're like natural fortifications. So you end up with where you have these valleys in America. People would create they're like natural castles. And they build houses into the hill as a natural fortification. There'd just be like one entry to it. It's fascinating. Some good YouTube videos on it. A lot of them haven't been. There's a lot that haven't been discovered. Yeah, there's a few people that do it. Yeah, so you get something like this, and then they would build like a fort. Well, not a fort, just houses, basically. And all they would have to do is secure the one bit of path that leads to it. So, for example, here, you could just fortify the top of this here. So, yeah, if imagine if that bit in front of us was connected to the hillside in front. You could basically fortify this bit. We're just flying over, and that's it. Who's going to attack you? They're going to have to climb. Let's imagine if that was still connected, which it might have been in the past. They would have to get past that. They'd be screwed. And so you could build a whole place to live on the end of there, and you'd be able to see all around you for miles. I'm surprised no one's made a video game on that concept where you have to try and capture them and secure them. Well, that's it. They're not necessarily the best areas for growing stuff. So it'd be where people would they would have all their family stuff there, but then they would go out hunting and things. It's fascinating. It's not something we really see much of in the UK because it's quite niche American stuff. Yeah, we had a Bell 47. I don't know if there's any good mod helicopters out yet for Flight Sim. But here we go. We've got the same problem again where the engine's losing power. Well, engine's totally losing power again. Well, we are climbing, but yeah, I know, but it's the degree to which he's losing power is crazy. Like now we're descending. There's some weird stuff going on with this engine, with this helicopter. Even with this, like we're going up and down, up and down. I think it could be the turbulence. We've just been going up and down, up and down. Oh, I don't know. It's wonky. Yeah, I think it does transfer it, so I'll go back up to normal rotor speed now. Yeah, we're not on much collective. I know how to fly a bloody helicopter. Well, yeah, the canyon's negative, really. And when I say there's an issue, I mean it's relative to how it normally flies. It was doing it on the ground earlier, even in ground effect. I think there's just some like weird bugged up throttle behaviour with this. This is cool. It's like trees on top of those hills. I think it is cold. Yeah, it looks amazing. Yeah, but the engine power isn't saturated, and there's no reason that it should be saturated. And when you've got ground effect, the air should be compacted anyway, so it shouldn't. You know, it's how you taxi an helicopter. You just put enough throttle, and it's like a hovercraft. So I'm to be honest. In Flight Sim 2020, when the Bell 47 was just on another level to Microsoft Flight Sim. The ceiling's okay at the moment. This is okay. Look, the Grand Canyon goes on forever. Imagine if you're like, oh, I'm going for a walk and you get stuck in this. Like, how is that not ridiculously impressive? It's insane. How is this running at 100 FPS as well? Like, what on earth? Like, this is what I don't get with Microsoft Flight Sim doing the single player and launching how they did. Like, you could just have this as a game. Helicopter in the Grand Canyon, that's a £30 game. It thinks it's incorrect fuel mixture. How do you... It should be auto doing that. Oh no, why is this messed up? How do you set fuel mixture? The red lever. Where's that? Y and H. Pretty sure we... Oops. Shit. That's rotor brake. Don't want that on. The red lever. It's the aircon. Above. Oh. Okay. Does it think we're high, so we need less? Oh shit, I've just accidentally pushed the trim button. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, so maybe it was that. Maybe that's what it was. It was the height and the temperature. So fuel mixture, let's bind this. That would make sense. I thought it was RPMs. There we go. We're learning, guys. If only it told us sooner, that would have been nice. How do you spell fuel? F-U-L-E? No. How do you spell fuel, guys? Mixture axis. Here we go. Half this game is binding controls. It's counterintuitive that lower fuel mixture. Oh my god, I need to change that binding. Lower fuel mixture is what you need, because it just can't combust it. The engine's getting saturated. You start off on the ground with full fuel mixture, I think, or some like amount that you know. Can you turn these off? These bloody... I mean, they're useful at times, but you need a toggle button for them. I haven't, Tayson. We will do, though. Right, we need to try a different helicopter. Let's go back somewhere. Let's find somewhere to land, and we want a faster helicopter. This is like just a standard touristy helicopter. I was looking at I was looking into how much it costs to do helicopter flying near where I am, near London, and it works out £500 an hour. Tempting. All I need is like, I think an hour would be enough for me to basically know how much force feedback it is and what it feels like. So Senate, yeah, it's just the bugs and things, I think, is what winds people up. Look at this though. I mean, this, just doing a helicopter flight around the Grand Canyon in this is worth like £15. So I think this is the problem. It's like if something's broken, it's broken. So £500 where you are. Yeah, the problem is you're paying for the helicopter rental and a qualified helicopter pilot. You know, it's like if you go to the dentist or something, you're paying for people's time, which adds up. Although the helicopter pilot's just abusing you to get their flight hours, basically. That's a massive thing where you know, people that have a private pilot's license or like a basic license, and then they need to get their flight hours up so they can do like the next thing up. So they do loads of coaching and what have you. How much is a fixed wing flight? You can do discovery flights for £200 last time I looked. Yeah, even I've seen offers for like 150, 120. Like a helicopter is so much better than a plane, let's be honest. Well, this is like, okay, if it's your first time ever in a helicopter, you'd want to go to like a very local airfield, and you would want to you probably want to spend 30 minutes on the ground, like close to the ground, getting a feel for that. Because you don't want to just do like a tour, you know, get to altitude and float around like this, like, because you're not really flying the helicopter much. You want to feel what it's like to actually control, not doing stunts or anything, but just taxiing and that kind of stuff. That's the, you know, that's the, so you have a really good feel for that part of the helicopter flight. That's what I'd want to know. And then once I've got, if I knew, like if I'd done that in the real helicopter, so you'd probably take like 2 hours, I think, to just have enough of a feel to know how it should feel like, to then set up, to know which helicopters are somewhat realistic in sims, and force feedback and stuff. Hello, Matt. We're flying in the helicopter. It's amazing. Around the Grande Canyon. It's a canyon that's very grand. Reet grand, I tell thee. It feels like you're going slowly, but it's because it's so big. That's what she said. Did you only just get back from work at 1 in the morning? What? These trees are a lot better. Look at that! It's crazy. The tessellation really does help. It gets rid of that, like, it gives it that more realistic Rocky feeling. It looks much more like photogrammetry, whereas when you play with the non-tessellated, the edges of cliffs and stuff just look too simple. This is on details, not only on 100 here. That's the thing. This is what I'm saying. This is why the marketing behind this game has been so bad, and it's bloody Microsoft. Like, how on earth can you mess up the marketing on Flight Sim? You know the tour that they did? They had influencers come to the Grand Canyon, and hardly any of them really actually did much on the actual flying thing and comparing it. And this is the problem, I think, with a lot of anodyne influencers, is they're not necessarily that creative, or they don't really care. They're like, oh, we've been paid, okay. They have no real they're not actually, some of them are, to be fair, some of them are like really passionate about flying or something, that's what they're doing, but a lot of them are just like corporate shills themselves, so they, you know. Oh no, Matt. Oh, here we go. What's this little parking area? That's cool. I just can't believe how badly marketed this game has been in general. Because I didn't even... So I'm a fan of flight sims, but I'm not a hardcore flight simmer. And I didn't really know. Like, I knew it was going to have a career mode and some stuff, but I didn't really know about other things because I hadn't researched it myself. I hadn't researched it. I was just going by general marketing, right? But you wouldn't know. Whereas, like, so a good example of marketing would be like, I think Kunos are doing a good job with Evo, where they're drip feeding new things and showing you stuff, and then they do a preview at an event, and so you're like, oh, okay, it's going to have road cars. Oh, it's going to have race cars. Oh, they've announced multiplayer stuff, and I'm sure there'll be more information. Game's just crashed again. This is a bit of a problem. Why is it just crashed again? At least it's the game crashing and not my PC. Bing. Yeah, it's a little bit unstable for some reason. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Martin. Yeah. So I was lucky to be one of the YouTubers that they invited for the launch of Flight Sim 2020. So like I know how it works. I'm just saying it didn't. The exposure from that I don't think was particularly. Or maybe it was. Maybe that's why there was a lot of people that got it on Xbox. Maybe those people did make people hyped for it. I don't know. It's hard to know. If you look at like Automobilista, as much as it's a bit annoying the way that Renato hypes it up, you can't deny that it's a good way of drumming up hype for the game. Like he's doing a good job of marketing. Like loads of people in sim racing are talking about 1.6 update, and it's just an update to their sim, right? Same with the developers Slightly Mad Studios for Project Cars, the way that they like drum up hype by just hyping it all the time. You know, it works. The big statue in India. I don't know. You'd have thought they'd put it in the game. Well, I don't know how truthful the hype needs to be for it to still equate to a lot of sales. Because if you think about it, with Sims, we were saying this earlier, a lot of people are not, a lot of people are just going to be playing on a gamepad. So if all the hype is like physics and stuff that someone's not going to know about or notice, it doesn't matter. It'll have the same effect on them. They're not in a position to question it. You just learned 12 a.m. means midnight, not afternoon. Oh no. Words, how do they work? Matt, it's not really that simple. So it's got the shaders and stuff are a lot better fundamentally, like water shaders, the volumetric waves and things. The clouds are fundamentally different. The tessellation and ground details are a lot higher quality. There's way more tree variety. Oh, you're trolling, okay. But like I could totally see how someone would think that. It's got plane surfing physics, yeah. I could totally see how someone wouldn't know because they need to show that off more closely. They showed screenshots of the ground and things, but they need to have done like a panning camera with a side by side. They did do a few preview stuff like that, but they should have done more of it. Yeah, you can never tell. You can never tell when people are joking. You don't know anymore. Can't tell on the internet. Right, let's. Where should we go now? It's bloody Australian o'clock. It's middle of the day in New Zealand. Rant inspiring. Should we have a look at Tokyo? That's how that song goes. There's a few helicopter pads in Tokyo. Plenty of places to park if you live in Tokyo and you want to get around quickly. Good for parking spots. Let's try. The thing is, you want something nimble. You want a nimble helicopter. That was it. What's this one? The Airbus we could try. Thing is, these small helicopters are normally a lot better. try this one. What version? What do you mean? Version of what? This is I don't know. It updates itself. Yeah, Flight Sim 24. Oh, the deluxe version. I don't know, it costs like what, £100, 130. I figured I'm going to be playing it a lot, so you know. Not that it really makes much difference, to be honest. I mean, there's a few extra planes and stuff, but. Oh dear. Start engine. There we go. Have you seen the video where the person's flying and they go to pull the rotor brake? And he's like, don't pull that, we'll die. Okay. How can someone be that dumb? You know. I need to rebind these to different things because that's very handy to have. Okay, let's just go. Bloody hell! Wow, this is well twitchy on the rudder pedals. How cool are helicopters? Wow, this has really, considering it's a bigger helicopter, it has a surprising response to roll. Collective's a bit slow, but why is it so? Why is this helicopter so sensitive to roll? Oh yeah, VR. Yeah, what is that? A lot of helicopter flying. Well, I think flying in general is about looking around. I think we'll get a Tobii eye tracker, but I need to try out. But I don't think it works properly with Flight Sim yet. And also, I need to. If it's a sponsored video, it won't be a review video, so I need to work it out with them because I won't. Obviously, I don't think you could do. You can't do a review if it's a sponsored video, can you? Like, that's just not how it works. But for some reason, some people seem to think that's okay. How can you review something if it's a sponsored video? Like, even if you're not biased, and even if you are very careful with being biased, you can't do a bloody sponsored review, can you? It's like, oh, well, you know, thanks for the money. I mean, IGN.com. Look at this. Tokyo's insane. Yeah, I won't ever. So I don't let any company have any editorial control, unless if it was 100% sponsored video. So I don't know. Let's say it's well, like the Mercedes Virtual Championship or whatever. Then, and you know, it's a fully sponsored thing. They're not asking me to review the game. I'm there to let you know about their championship, right? So they can have editorial control over what I promote, because it's just, you know, that's fine. But if same if I was at an event, if I was at like a race or something, and they didn't want me to show XYZ pit lane, or they didn't want me to you know, that's fine. But like, if the viewer is expecting a review, or you're making a video where you're like, yeah, and even then, I think if they, so normally when a company has editorial control, you could still say no. So you'd be like, they can say you can't put something out, but they can't force you to put something out. You'd have a contractual agreement with the company sometimes, and that would, in that agreement, it would say, this is what we want you to put out, and then you would agree to that. It wouldn't, a company wouldn't just turn around and go, right, we now want you to say that you endorse murdering penguins. You know what I mean? Look at this. Why is there that tree's huge? They need to fix that. They're very big, the tree. It's a Godzilla tree. This is why Godzilla was so big. Godzilla! He was hiding in one of the giant trees. That tree's massive. The world's largest tree. Bloody hell. This is what happens after Fukushima. They moved it into Tokyo, the Fukushima oak tree. Can you imagine if trees were that big? The tree's like 500 foot tall. Imagine the size of the squirrels in that. Godzilla! It's bigger than the skyscrapers. That's hilarious. How fast can we go in this helicopter? This is well nippy. This is like a rescue helicopter. I think it's quite... Is this like a Sea King type thing? Yeah, I mean, I'm overly, personally, I'm overly against signing contracts and stuff. So that's just my personal thing. Like, I'm too conservative on it, realistically. Just purely because I don't like signing contracts. I really don't like signing contracts at all. Like I really value freedom of being able to say what I'm thinking. I think that's one of the most important things in life. Right, so I totally get why some people might not value that as much, or are happier just towing the line with stuff. But my view as well is, for me personally, and this is for not even YouTube, but like business in general, I like to think that I have an actual... I've got to know people over years, and then they know you, and so you have a mutual respect. There's like a base, you know, like a... In business, it's really good to have contracts, so I'm not saying contracts are bad, and I think it's very, very good idea to have contracts for a lot of things, because it's not that you don't trust people, it's so that everyone's on the same page and at least it's written down. So that's a good part of contracts. But you do also get a lot of like situations for smaller for smaller details where a company should have the basic trust, because they've been working with someone for so long that they, you know, it's not like they're gonna. It's very, very, very unlikely there'd ever be a problem. And yeah, I think that's an important part of business. Old school handshake. Yeah, no, but the thing is, you can twist those words into different ways. As I say, there's definitely a lot of value to contracts, and I said with a lot of people with a lot of business, it's not about breaking a contract. It's about everyone being on the same page, and that's a very important thing. Because also you can forget as well. Like even even the person that wrote the contract could forget what they were thinking, and so having it written down is good for them and not just the other party. But I say with sim racing, to be honest, most of the companies are really sort of actually quite down to earth with that kind of stuff and pretty reasonable, which is good. I think especially because a lot of the businesses are actually just smaller businesses, so they're more agile and understand the reality of things, and they're run by people that are actually passionate. So you get more problems when you have giant corporate structures where the people running it couldn't give a shit about the product or anything. They're just literally jobs worth. No, I don't. I don't know if there are assists for the helicopter. I would recommend using stability assists for if you're on a gamepad. I'm using a really good joystick here, so you don't really need any assists. We should land on a helipad somewhere, on a building. We should do a mission landing on every helipad in Tokyo. The Tokyo Helicopter Challenge. This is Tokyo. Is that the sky tree in front of us? If you're using a smaller joystick as well, using it probably makes sense to use assists. Because you need. I'm using a Moser AB9 with the shaft extension, so it's very easy to be precise. Thanks for subscribing, Colin. Appreciate it. Welcome. We've got a nice vibration for the engine as well. It feels great. Yeah, thanks for clicking the like button and following. And if you want to support us, guys, this is my job. So if you subscribe or you donate or you follow or you watch adverts, really appreciate it. Let's just do this. Let's just keep doing what we do. So thank you very much. That's weird how is that like steps that go up there? Like it slopes up? Seems to be like, I don't know if it's a frame rate, stuttering a bit. Hello, Stubby. Think how big this building is. Whoops. Flopping all over the place. Where can we land? The gauges seem a bit messed up on this. Is that a helicopter pad on that building? Oh, there's one there. Okay. Yeah, but I think we might have it turned down. We did a hot air balloon race with Thomas. Yeah, these helicopters get weird when you're in ground effect. Whoa, what's it doing? It's drunk. Bloody hell, what's going on here? Some weird stuff happening with this helicopter. What? This turbulence is bonkers. What? What? What is going on? What? Insanity turbulence. Ah! What the what? Ah! Why is it doing that? That is not right. Yeah, that's broken. Suddenly, and now it's getting. Oh, this is totally broken. Oh my goodness! What on earth? What on earth? Let's just chuck it down. The ground effect's messed up on buildings, and then there's this crazy turbulence that's rotating it. That's mental. Because we made sure that we were on the building, so the ground effect, and this is wider than the helicopter, so the ground effect should be pretty stable. Yeah. You can turn on the, I don't know what the thing is to visualise the... I don't know what's going on there. I mean, you can get weird turbulence around buildings because obviously the wind's hitting them, but... Yeah, with this you can just load it, which is nice. And then you should get it, but it has to download whilst you're playing. And it can take a while. But it's pretty good. Oh, I thought we had space there. Apparently not. We need to find the... here's the Tokyo Expressway. Do some cruising. Yeah, I think it's worth turning the turbulence down in the sim because it's a bit weird how it's working at the moment. How you doing, Sim Racing Realtor? Giant tree there. It's crashed again. And again, we've crashed. Thank you. Dear, this game's not stable. Well, I want to check out some of the reflections. It's the 4th time it's crashed. The game crashes more than I crash. It's pretty impressive. It's weird. We did a fresh install of the game. It might depend on a graphics setting, maybe. It's trying to load something that's not loaded. What graphics settings are you using? We are using. I don't know. Well, maybe the frame generation's causing it, or DLSS, or who knows? There's so many things now in Sims. It's hard to know. They don't seem to happen in a way that, you know, it's not like it's more under demand or anything. Yeah, games are so complicated now, it's impossible to troubleshoot them. We've not since we went to the latest Nvidia drivers in the new Nvidia app, and then we run the graphics cards at slightly lower lower power potential. We've not had any Microsoft Flight Sim's not caused the whole PC to crash, so that's nice. And it seems to still run great as well, so don't know what was going on with that. I think because there's not that many DirectX 12 games, are there? And I think Flight Sim being one of them probably accesses more of the card. Yeah, I need to do some undervolt. I haven't got around to it yet. But I mean, the graphics card doesn't use that much power. Undervolting wouldn't save you that much wattage either, because you're only talking like probably the difference between 5 or 10 watt. Probably less than that. It's not to do with temperatures. It's something to do with the Flight Sim that accesses the card. So you don't do it with any other game. Good. Tarkta, no. Not yet. Well, this loading video never gets old. Okay. Oh yeah, I went to see the reflections. Went to find a good lake to fly around. Let's try Chinook. Three, yeah. I don't mind. I normally have like 3 computers on all the time, so. We do some Japan country flying. Here we go. I think I'm going Japanese. We could probably turn some of the details down a bit, actually. Okay. Chinook time. Well, that's not good. We had the collective on full. Right, here we go. Look how many options we have here. Basically an aeroplane. It's a helicopter that's an aeroplane. Find some countryside to fly over.
Okay, let's go.
Oh. Why is it crashing over and over again? It's ridiculous. Every time I go back to the cockpit view, it crashes. I think it's because it's loading something. That's ridiculous. How can it crash that much? I'll try one more time. Don't remember it wasn't crashing this much before. Maybe it's just because we're doing more helicopters. Maybe it's also changing view or something. It's lucky that it loads quickly. That'd be annoying if it crashed and you had to wait ages for it to load each time. That would really ruin the game, I think. That would make it a lot less enjoyable to play. I think there's supposed to be a patch soon as well, and then another one in December something. Why can't you hear me? Why can't you hear me speaking whilst you're texting? How does that work? It blocks audio when you're text. That doesn't make any sense. Dear. I think your phone might be a... It's a botnet phone. Maybe you just need to reinstall the app. It's probably a bug. Everything's buggy these days. I don't think so. Don't know why does this game take so long to load as well? Alright, here we go. I mean, we could try turning some settings down or something. But I don't think it's graphics settings that's causing the I'm going to fly around some countryside here. I don't even know if it is DLSS causing it. We've not had issues with that in the past. Here we go. We're in the water. Okay. Helicopters are right, chonkers. Sounds good. I think this helicopter has quite low RPM speed. I'm using the Moser AB9 and then the Thrustmaster Pendula rudder system. we haven't. We use a bunch of equipment. We use Moser for Flight Sim because they do the force feedback joystick. Just came out. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of equipment. We review stuff. Quite tankish this, but it's also really quick. It's responsive on the throttle. It's not so responsive in terms of roll. Kind of makes sense. It's pretty big helicopter. Yeah, it'll be good. This will be good in VR. Have to get it set up. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Ah! Got stuck there. Got stuck in a turn. Can you bring the landing gear up on this? It's crazy because it's jet. Pretty sure you can lift the landing gear on a Chinook. Grand Canyon Chinook race, yeah. Mental. How fast it is. We're going over the rated airspeed. Bloody hell. This is the ultimate drug smuggling vehicle. I don't know how to set the... I don't want to set it. We're going to hit the ground in a minute. Whoa! Didn't like that. I don't know where we're going, so I don't know how the heading indicator can be incorrect. I have no idea where we are. We're just chooching around here. Oh, we're going to find some water. Yeah, I guess if you just turn the reflections off, you don't get the reflection thing. Because actually in some ways looks better. Yeah. In some ways I think it's better with the reflections off. Because they're not smearing and blurring all over the place. Yeah, I've turned him off though. You can turn off the screen space reflections. $150 knots this. No, it's RTX shadows, but not reflections. Colour video now. We're going to hit that then. This is well good. Hoodlum Chinook pilot, yeah. Imagine flying this around London streets. These seem to go on forever, these trees. We need something that's more grassy rather than treey, so you can skim the ground more. That's the nice thing about New Zealand. It's too windy for trees, so you get really good. Well, there's a lot of trees as well, but on the hills. I don't know. It could be, yeah. Maybe it's to, yeah. I don't know. These fly over my house every now and again. They're awesome. Hello, Red Eye Warrior. Oh my god, it must be late. How's it going, Red Eye? The Red Eye crew. Thanks for the raid, man. How's it going? Red Eye's a helicopter man as well. It's because you can go sideways in it. He appreciates vehicles that enable sideways. That's basically, how do you know if a vehicle's good? It can go sideways. It's that simple. It's pretty good, yeah. Have you got a force feedback stick? When are you getting a force feedback stick is the next question. Get in there, Red Eye Warrior. You know you want the force feedback. Oh, the blades hitting the air sounds awesome. Thanks for the shout out for him. Yeah, it's nice. I just have it on pretty weak for the helicopters. It's mostly rumble and then a little bit of centering. A little bit of centering force. And then the trim is done through hardware, so the joystick holds the position based off the trim, which is nice. Makes up for Microsoft Flight Sim's weird helicopter trim. I mean, this sounds amazing. Is it a jet plane? No, it's a jet helicopter. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just amazing. It's like a log of power. Were you on AC, or were you on BeamNG again? Let's overspeed. Here we go. Full power. Took 50 miles an hour overspeed. Oh, we're shaking. The old ring's shaking. It can take it. It can take it. They over-engineer these things. I'm wobbling. I don't know if tactile transducers work in Flight Sim. I'm going to get a little helicopter. We'll go to New Zealand. I don't know. It should do. Should support it. That'd be good if it did. Is how you avoid detection from the enemy. I don't think I could ever fly real Chinook without doing this. The temptation would be too high to just fly really low and go crazy. You'll be like, ooh. I think the extra grass detail really helps with low height sensor speed. This helicopter has crazy power for a lift. I guess it's empty, and you can carry tanks in this, so it makes sense. So it has to have like really crazy amounts of power. How much countryside we got here? It's never ending. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I have to give that a go. I think they've done a much better job on the sound. They've even further improved the sound in Flight Sim 24. I think your phone's broken, Floydan. I think we can do a barrel roll. What is that over there? Oh, it's a huge river. Let's fly towards that. Oh, this is quite far away. I mean, this is insane. I don't quite get how it manages to render all the trees. I mean, I guess they're just instanced objects, but it's like, do you remember for a long time? I guess maybe they're not individual trees. It's more of a bump map texture that looks like individual trees. That would explain it when you're at this altitude. It's more of like it's actually a flat, not really three-dimensional trees. But billboard trees are wholesome, yeah, the classic. But do you remember, like, I think there's been big jumps in flight sims, and I think it's been like three-dimensional polygons which aren't filled. That was a big jump from 2D to 3D. Then textured polygons. Then large environments with textured polygons, and also like mountains and things. Then like there was a big jump in like being able to have actual photograph based textures, so not flat shaded but like actual textures, but they still look shit. But at cruising altitude it would be, you know, like a take on flight and stuff. At cruising altitude you look at the ground and it did actually look like the globe. And then I think the thing with Flight Sim, and then before Flight Sim we had like with Flight Sim X and stuff, they added like trees and more details and things, but the textures were still crap and the resolution was still crap, but you did have like objects basically. It wasn't just a flat surface, so that was quite a big thing. But then I think the thing with Flight Sim 24 is it was like the first sim to really do like really high detail ground, lots of objects. I mean, X-Plane 12 and stuff look great, but the tessellation in 12, I think, is a massive difference. Yeah, for ground quality, it really sells the illusion of real terrain. You really notice it on the Grand Canyon. You wouldn't have thought as well. So the photogrammetry is a massive, massive thing as well. And so I'd say that's an equal jump. Tessellation and photogrammetry. Like, once you're above, like, 500 foot, photogrammetry basically looks real. So yeah, I'd say there's like some pretty sort of pivotal moments in flight sims and how they just graphically the things that really stand out. But I don't think a lot of people necessarily notice the impact of tessellation. Like I think they forget very quickly how shit untessellated terrain looks. And you have to basically show them the previous thing for them to be reminded of how crap it is. Yeah, there's some of the what was it? Flight Unlimited, which came out in 2004. It might be sooner than that. That had photo terrain, but it was very low res. Yeah, well, I mean, tessellation first started in like 2008, I think, was when you really started seeing it. But initially, you had that, like normal maps, height maps using normal maps. And then you had like ZMap. Perfect Dark, I think, was one of like the first games that did height maps, like the bricks and stuff, with actual 3D objects based off a texture. Whereas a normal map is just a bit like the colours are baked. Well, the shadows on the surface are baked into it, but it's not actually a 3D object. And then tessellation is just taking that, in a sense, but dynamic geometry a bit more. This is crazy though. My joystick's going. Look at my joystick if I let go of it. She's wobbling. Yeah, the GPS screen in the cockpit looks way better than the old Flight Sims. Yeah, in Flight Sim 2020 we were flying around using the glass display. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I think where tessellation works really well is on stuff like muddy ground. Is this the Mississippi River? Bloody big, whatever it is. Let's land here. We'll land in this field. Bloody hell, it's not exactly the best cockpit to see out of. With VR, there you go. That's why it's got glass in the bottom. It's a bit weird, Wabbit, at the moment. It's a little bit weird. Especially on buildings. It's super messed up on little buildings and stuff. Like, you get this sudden crazy turbulence. And also, it still does the Microsoft Flight Sim bouncing in and out of ground effect, rather than being in a stable amount of ground effect. Which is weird, because there were some mods for Flight Sim 20 that didn't do that. So I think it's just like a weird... Oh, it's crashed again. Game keeps crashing. It's when I go back to the cockpit after being on the outside view. So it's when it has to load the cockpit after I've been outside. That's when it's crashing. It's done it like 4 times now. So it's a weird. There's a weird issue with it loading something in the cockpit. It's very weird. Right. Well, we did change the graphics. Didn't make any difference. It's going back from outside to into the cockpit. So maybe resetting all the camera settings might fix it. Because we weren't with the other planes. We weren't switching from cockpit to outside that much. Yeah, they do that for training, Novotny, because I guess they have to practice landing in random places on uneven land. They fly over me all the time, but they don't really land here. Right. I think I might call it a night because it's 2 in the morning. But hopefully we can stream tomorrow. I was meant to have an appointment, but they cancelled it, so... Yes! We could do another stream tomorrow. That was good fun. I enjoyed that. Though flying helicopters, you can't go wrong. Thanks to everyone for watching and taking part, and the raids and everything. Appreciate it. It was fun. It was fun doing. It was fun doing the RSS cars as well earlier. Trying to find someone English we can raid. Here we go, helicopter guy. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you soon. Have a good night, everyone. Say hello to this guy. He's a helicopter pilot. Take care, everyone. Bye.